Welcome to Core Concepts from Dent Gaming. Let's see this build. What is up, guys? Got another build for you today. This is Cloak and Dagger Mark II. Let's go ahead and dig into it. On the right hand, I am running the Etsujin, which is one of my favorite machine guns. It just does everything and does everything very, very well. It's great at keeping your opponent on their toes and keeping their stagger built up, and that is exactly what I use it for, especially at close range. Moving on to the other arm, I am running the Laser Dagger, so the VP67LD, the only laser dagger in the game. So yeah, this thing actually has a 3-hit combo that's brutal when they're staggered. So I believe it actually hits for 752 times 3, which is about 2200 attack power. And on top of that, if they are staggered, it's getting an extra about 30%, 35% boost because of the direct hit adjustment being 175. So yeah, it's absolutely brutal. It does have a charge attack, which is nice if you need to do instantaneous damage. But honestly, I use it more for the consecutive hits because I just think it hits better that way. Moving on to the back, these missiles are here to support the Etsujin in building stagger. These are the BML-G2/P19SPL-12s, which is just basically the split 12 missile. Anyway, it fires 2 missiles that split into 6 each, which makes 12. That's why the 12 is on there. And these are really good if you are facing an opponent that is, one, running away from you, because they're really good at covering distance because they're freaking missiles, and that's what missiles do. Also, they're really good at getting around shields. Unless your opponent is using a shield that is the 360 shield, these will get it done. These will go absolutely. If you fire them and then you boost over, so crap, messed that up. Let's go ahead. There we go. That's what I want. So if you fire them, and you see how they do that little break off? If you actually flank to the left or right really fast in QB, they'll hold their shield out, and the shield will force them to face you. So if you flank around while your missiles are expanding, it'll actually come in from the side, and it'll just completely negate the fact that they have a shield. So that is a good tactic to keep in mind. That is a pro tip of the day. Moving on to the other back weapon. This is the cloak part of Cloak and Dagger. It's a VP40. It's a VP-61PB, the Pulse Buckler. And this thing has got the best IG damage and impact dampening of any of the shields because it has the smallest, actually, IG duration. A window of only 0.4 seconds, which is actually a little bit longer than you think. So that's what she said. Anyway, moving on. We got a weight of 1920, which is the lightest of all the shields, but it does have a pretty chonky 285 EN load, which I think is about the 3rd highest of all of them. Maybe the 4th highest, but it just feels like it's clunky, but I guess it's not so bad now that I'm looking at it. Anyway, if you do use this, make sure you do have a good EN supply efficiency to compensate for that, which my build does. So that's good, and we'll get into why later. Anyway, basic battle strategy is going to be about the same as its older brother, or I'm sorry, thicker brother. It's going to be you build stagger with these two while you mitigate stagger with your shield, and then when you go in for the punish, you use the laser dagger to absolutely devastate. You can throw a kick in there if you got enough time too. If they're not recovered, you can definitely throw a kick in there. Anyway, moving on to the frame, I am running the Cloak War 44Z. This has the 2nd best attitude stability in the game, not to mention a good system recovery. I was noticing on the older Cloak and Dagger, it was very, very allergic to electrical and fire attacks, like very allergic, and it just couldn't do anything because it was running the Mind Beta, and I think the Mind Beta's only got like 90%, 95 damage recovery, something like that. So yeah, it was not working out. But this head part is lighter than that, and again, it's got a little bit higher of an EN load, but I wasn't really worried about that because I do have a good EN supply efficiency, so that was all good with me. Anyway, defenses on this head, you're really sacrificing a lot to get that attitude stability, but overall the scan performances are really good. So 620, you're basically not going to be fighting outside of 620, so this definitely covers the combat range of the AC. Scan effect duration is a little short, but standby time is only 3.6, so it actually works out. If you are a person who likes to scan, the Cloak War is decent at it. But yeah, you really are sacrificing a lot for these two stats and this. So anyway, that's the head part. We're going to move on. So I am running the Faramisa. The reason why I'm running the Faramisa, I wanted to be very, very kind to my output because, you know, I need a good output. And then I wanted to be kind also to my boosters so I could QB because I wanted to focus more on maneuverability. So unlike the older one where the shield just kind of went out, stayed out, this one you just, you know, pop out, put back in. And I feel like having a good booster efficiency is where it's at. Also, it's super lightweight. I really do love the lightness of this core, coming in at under 11,000 units, and with actually really decent defenses as well. So AP is a little low, but you got to sacrifice something for that lower weight. Moving on to the arms. I think these are pretty easy and straightforward. You guys probably understand why I'm running these. I really want my laser dagger punish to do its job, and these arms are actually the best at melee specialization. Not to mention they come in a nice lightweight and a very, very low EN load. I believe of the arms, these have the lowest EN load in the game. Defenses aren't bad on these ones, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily good, but they are good at explosive counteract at 225. Energy is a little bit low, which is my lowest stat on here, as you guys can see, but you know, you got to make sacrifices somewhere for that maneuverability. All right, moving on, the Alba legs. Who is not surprised that I chose the Alba legs for a fast AC? I freaking love these things. They got a really good attitude stability. They're super light. Sure, the EN load's a little high, but they've got balanced defenses and a good AP to boot, especially for the weight. Jump distance and jump height actually aren't too bad, and honestly, with the boosters I paired with it, jump distance or jump height doesn't really matter. All right, that's the frame. Moving on to the inner parts, we do have the grid walkers for boosters. Why did I choose the grid walkers? Because the grid walkers are really good at getting into the air if your opponent is in the air and meleeing them. They've got a really good melee attack thrust, and they've got the best upward thrust in the game. Not to mention their upward thrust EN consumption isn't that bad. So if I need to kite, I can kite. I can just stay up there and rain missiles if my opponent's just running away and being weird. Downsides to this booster is definitely the QB thrust, 19,000 QB thrust, which is not high at all. But it is on a lightweight frame, so hopefully I can use that to, hopefully the pilot can use that to their advantage. So yeah, that is the boosters. Let's go ahead and move on. FCS, there's only one FCS that actually makes sense on this build, and that is the Talbot, because I am running ballistics and I am running missiles, so I need them to do that well, and I am close range. So really the only FCS that kind of makes sense. I did try a little bit with the P05 because it is one of my favorite FCSs. It worked okay, but I feel like the Talbot was just the way to go. I mean, if you guys build it, you guys can build it with this one in here, and you can get all this happy goodness over here. And you guys are probably all better pilots than me, so you could probably make that work out. Moving on to the generator, Ming Tang. This is my favorite generator in the game. I freaking love this generator. So it's got the second best EN recharge of any in the game. And then if you pair that with the fact that the core isn't good at EN recharge, you get a decent stat here. Actually a good stat, 0.77, just because it's got the second best in the game. So you still get that good out of it, even with a core that doesn't necessarily promote it. Other than that, it's got over 3,000 for the EN cap and 3,310 for the EN output, which are both really, really good numbers. I did notice that if you do want a little bit more of these, you could pop the Hokushi on if you were willing to sacrifice this. So if you guys do, definitely share the share ID in the comments below. Moving on to the expansion, I did choose assault armor for this one just because this thing has got the speed to get to the opponent, and if you time it right and you're going against another assault armor, you can actually mitigate that damage. I'm not super good at that, but you can do it. All right, guys, that is the build and battle strategy. Let's go ahead and show you guys what this thing can do. Come here, Freud. Oh, I can't use this cut now. I messed it up. Oh, okay. Yeehaw. No. No. Please stagger. Please stagger. Please stagger. Please stagger! Whoop, got a little greedy with the kick. Oh, what an ending! Whew, got there. Yeah, that build's fun. Alright guys, that was Cloak and Dagger Mark II, uploading now just for you guys. Let's go ahead and get the share ID. It is ESNBVFS17PXY. If you like him, take him. He is all yours. I had an absolute blast using this big giant robot to blow stuff up. Please like and subscribe. Thank you and goodbye. Oh no! Oh no!